right, getting everything all set up. All right, where am I? Oh, here we are. Here we are. Hey, I made it here. Folks, I'm constantly late for my own appointments. I do apologize. I have to take a sip of motivation here. How's everybody today? My own buntag. Grab your favorite cup of Joe or your favorite libation. Inomako Cafe. Come and join us for a little chat, a little fireside chat with Dan. Hey, there's Daisy Lynn in the house, Larry Sir Luke, Anna Mae Reyes. Moelma is here. Tim, good morning from the Philippines. Yes, good morning to all. I'm live from the basement studio of Bye Bye City Leyte, just located a few steps away from the Dunkin' Donuts. I'm pushing the buttons, pulling the levers, and doing everything I need to do in order to get this live stream going this morning. By the way, I didn't get a good sleep last night. I'm not exactly sure. Could be the Emperador. Yes, the brandy wine had a little something to do with it. Eh? Could it have had something to do with it? Eh? I'm not sure. But anyway, I woke up without a headache, which is always good. All right, but I'm ready to go. What are we talking about today? Oh yeah, we're going to be talking about ghosts that appear out of nowhere. And what do I mean by that? I mean relationships. Oh, you can only see the top of my head. Oh no, I could see me just fine. Someone else, Larry, you ready to come up and maybe you can help me get some perspective on what's going on here. I did have problems with my camera right before start time. I switched over from the laptop. I didn't notice that my laptop had taken over my USB camera, and they don't like each other. So I noticed that I could only see the top of my head. So let me know if that's the view you're getting right now, and if so, I'll have to figure out what to do here. I might have to abandon my USB camera in favor of the laptop camera, but somebody has to let me know what's going on. You should be able to see my background. What I'm seeing in my view is I'm seeing the cow head in the background, and I'm seeing my head. Larry's here. Let's see what Larry.
Hey, how you doing, Dan?
What are you seeing? What are you seeing in your view?
I can see the camera, the cow behind you,
Yeah.
and your top of your head's almost cut off, not quite.
The top of my head is almost cut
Yeah,
off.
no, go up, go the other direction, up. There you go, right there.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thanks for that. Man, I'm getting a totally and completely different view. Yeah, Tim, what are you saying there? The ghost must have changed your channel name back to your own channel. Yeah, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I should change my channel name to Lazy Dan.
No, lazy. There's only one lazy. There's only one of me.
And so, I'm lazy. I haven't changed the channel name yet. But listen, Tim, I need to tell this story. You're reminding me that I need to tell this story, but I'll have to take another sip of motivation before I tell the story about the channel name. You're reminding me that I need to tell this story. Uh-oh. We're hearing the echo coming.
No, I just got rid of the echo.
All right. So now, the channel name. Oh, so here's what happened. This is how it's the story of Nicole. Now, at first, I was like Ma Bell. Torres. I thought Nicole was a ninja name for Nicole Instead channel.
Oh,
So they
was
have a
it?
whole bunch of ninja name channels, and sometimes they just whip one out when they're having contests and stuff. They could go into like 5 or 10 different channels that are having contests. In fact, I could see where somebody could make a living just going by into other people's channel that are having like contests and then win, and then they win their daily pay that way. But now, so I thought I almost sent I got to tell you this story. I almost sent the 5K to Nicole Instead before Mabel Torres sent me a message saying, "Stop! Don't send that money that way," because I had their Gcash account. So what ended up happening was that she says, "Oh, that's Pacquiao Mertz supporter." And so I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, it's their supporter of Mertz." I went back and checked out, and I go, "Yeah, it was true." So then I sent a message over to Mertz, and I said, "Hey, I'm looking for Nicole's Gcash because I got to send her some money, right?" And so here's what happened. The word got out really fast. This is the beauty of social media, that I was looking for her. And a message quickly came back saying, "Oh, Nicole is in the middle of an exam, a college exam or a high school exam. I'm not sure exactly which one. I think it's college. And as soon as she's done with the exam, she'll send all the contact information your way." And so that I was really pleased. I mean, can you imagine things happen that fast within minutes? Within minutes, Larry.
Oh yeah.
I had gotten the message back. They told me where she's at. She's in the middle of taking an exam because we're approaching Easter week, or Holy Week. And
Yeah. So
sometimes,
spring break's coming up.
yeah, the spring break. Sometimes they do the exams before spring break, and other times they do it when they come back. Most of the time, my experience has been, me personally,
Before.
is what I mean, is that they do it before. So that way you could
So you can
relax.
relax and enjoy your spring break.
Yeah, you could relax on some white sandy beach, for which there's no shortage of those here in the Philippines, right? So,
No
Tim,
shortage.
Larry, I got to tell you the rest of the story. Okay, so she eventually contacts me after. It was only another 15 minutes after that. She says, "Hi, Dan. Oh my gosh, I win. I'm shaking. I'm crying. I needed that money real badly to help me out with my tuition." So I want to tell you the rest of the story. Here's what happened in the selection process. You guys have to know that there must be something known as um, uh, what do they call it?
Controversy?
Intervention.
Oh,
Is the only
intervention.
way to put it. Divine intervention is the only way to put it.
Okay.
All right, I'm always afraid to use those words like divinity and stuff like that, but the only way to explain this is divine intervention, which happened a couple times. So, Man Mini, of course, because I'm going over all these things in my head, and then I tend to process things out loud. So I'm going over these names, these potential names um, of channel names, and then we both at the same time zoom in on Nicole's channel and we go, "That's the winner." We both did it at the same time. We don't know how it happened, except that this voice came into our head. She explains it the same way. Minnie, she explained how it happened to her, and I'm going to tell you how it happened to me at the same time. A voice, like aliens, the God voice, if you will. It just enters my mind in voice forms and said, "Pick Nicole as the winner." I mean, it was the damnedest thing, right? It was the darndest thing. And Minnie had the same thing happen to her. This happened to us while we were bringing over the fast ferry from Cebu to Ormoc. We decided to come back, not to take the overnight ferry. We decided that we're going to zoom back to Bye Bye via Ormoc, and we're going to take the fast ferry. But folks, I'm all over the place, but I love the Ocean Jet. I just love that ship. That thing just zooms across the water and get you to where you need to go in order. Larice, Larice is in the house. The Philippines' most eligible bachelorette and socialite. I hear she's been socializing quite a bit lately. Anyway,
So
so
she's having fun, huh?
yeah, yeah. I think that I'm not sure. I'm not sure that the Ocean Jet ship. One of the reasons why I like it better. I think it's a little bit bigger than the Super Cat, but I'm not sure. I got no numbers to support that. I'm just thinking that maybe it's a little bit. It's just a little bit more comfortable to ride the Ocean Jet for me and Man Mini. We both have come to the same conclusion. So we'll probably be using the Ocean Jet from now on. But it's very expensive. This is the thing that kind of bugs me a little bit. It's getting costly. All right, so we both get hit in the head by a hammer by the God voice. Pick Nicole. Pick Nicole. Pick Nicole. And of course, me, I'm like, get out of my head. What are you doing? Get out of my head. I got a headache already. And so it's Nicole, right? So now, Nicole and others around her, I hear this story from two or three different people. Nicole had been praying for help. She'd been praying for help. I did not, by the way, Nicole, I do apologize. I find this story to be so compelling. I just want to share with people the power of prayer and the power of positive affirmation. This is what I've been talking about for the last couple of live streams. So, Nicole, and I hear from other people that knew the story, right? That she was stressing so much about not having enough funds, if you will, which is a common thing in the Philippines. I mean, because we have to eat, you have to support your family, you have to eat. And what ended up happening was she started praying. So when this when she got notified that she was the winner, she became very emotional. And quite frankly, it makes me a little bit emotional thinking about it. She became very emotional. She said she was crying, her hands were shaking. Um, she realized that the prayer had been answered, and it had to have been something. Or my thought was, anyway. She didn't share it exactly this way, but she's a God-fearing woman. She said that it had to have been divine intervention, or she indicated. So the whole story about how this came to be. Now others picked the same channel name or similar. It just happened that Nicole was first in line. I was coming up with a whole bunch of crazy stuff myself, and actually, tell you to borrow a line from Larry. I'm going to tell you the truth here and
No,
say
lie
that
to me.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to say, yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you that,
Well, that's what you always tell me.
yeah, anime, and crystals. They were going like overtime, coming up with channel names. Some of them were really good. I mean, the imagination that Anime Reyes and Crystal's Adventures have was remarkable. And so, listen. I'm storing all this stuff. I'm storing all the names. I got them right. I got them written down right here. See, and I'm going to be carrying these around with me. I don't know. Some of them were brilliant names. I may start another channel. If I start another channel, I'm gonna grab one of these names on here from either anime or crystals, and I will compensate them accordingly. So anyway, that's the story. It's a bit. It's You're welcome, anime. It's a bit overwhelming to think about it. I mean, for me, you know. Oh, who won? LV. That was Nicole Hartz, 2001, won the competition. Nicole Hartz. So anyway, all those that you know her from jumping in on Pacquiao Mertz's channel. Pacquiao Mertz isn't here right now. I haven't seen her, but she gives tremendous support alongside Mabel Torres and Filipino Raquel to this challenge, and others. All of you do, as a matter of fact. You got Mel Tiempo, and you got, I mean, you just have a whole bunch of people. By the way, I have a birthday coming up, and I decided to not have a party for myself. Instead, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over to Caridad, which is a barangay, a few stops on the jeepney up the street, and we'll be putting on it, I don't want to say will as in I did the cooking or anything, but we're going to be putting on a feeding program for the children there in Caridad, and guess who put it together? Guess who volunteered to put it together for me? Is Des and Mel and Melanie Calapayan and Des Cretesio. Is that how you say it? Cretesio? Who have been over to the house. They live here in that barangay nearby in Bye Bye City Leyte. And we can have two better chefs or two finer people handling the details for that feed, which is going to be in the afternoon of tomorrow. I guess tomorrow. Here in the Philippines, that would be Sunday, April 2nd. So now, I'm not sure we're going to live stream that, but we're definitely going to take video. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the ghost. So I'm grateful to all that made those suggestions. And if I missed you, because I did send Pandasol money, I did send Pandasol and coffee money out via Gcash, so that you, as a consolation prize, I hate that word consolation, I'm going to console you for offering up your time. Anyway, it was a small gesture. I realized it was a very small gesture. But anyway, you are not forgotten. You're always right here in my heart, right here in my heart. Thank God I could still feel it beating. All right, what happened? Okay, so let me get on to something else. So, some people have, in my past, some people have said, Dan, there's no emotional side of you whatsoever. You're like a stone. You're like a rock. If we stood you up next to a statue of MacArthur,
MacArthur would go first.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they said. That was very quick of you, Larry. And so, but I think that's partially true. I think it's just the way that I view the world. I wish that I could dig down deep inside and pull up something, a liver, a kidney, something.
Remember, whatever you pull up, make sure you can do without. Okay.
Yeah, but that's what prompted me. Yeah, that's right. That's what prompted me. I think you only need one kidney. Is that true, Larry? Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you need is one kidney. But
You
you
only
need
need
your
a
liver.
kidney. Folks, you can ruin a kidney. You only need one. So go ahead. Drink as much Emperador and drink as much San Miguel as you choose.
Now, make sure you don't ruin the liver, though.
Mm.
San Miguel might ruin your liver.
Yeah, Tim says, yeah, the liver. Now, Tim says, Dan, you must have been a politician in your past life. It could be. But hey, you can't say hey in the Philippines. Larry.
Yes, sir.
You brought up liver. Have you been seeing those doctors? I mean, I've seen like half a dozen doctors in the last month. No, I'm not sick. I'm talking about
on YouTube.
On YouTube, talking about the vaccine and how they're discovering after the fact that the rDNA in the vaccine is turning into DNA in the liver, and it's replicating itself. And you know what that means, right?
Soon we'll all be robots.
They're claiming that it will most likely result, if there's there's little research. They're just starting to research this, but if it turns out that some of these YouTube doctors are onto something, then what their fear is that it's going to become cancer. And so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Cancer probably is going to take, in this case, 20 years to develop. But
No, I may be
they don't,
dead by then.
they don't call me conspiracy theorist Dan for nothing. But, oh, that's right. It's low budget Dan. I just gave myself a new name. But no, but think about this. Think about this for a minute. How would the
Oh,
folks
Daisyland.
at the World Health Organization and other places like that, how would they be able to come up with a prediction that by 2050, the planet is going to go through depopulation, and instead of having 9 billion people on it, once it hits 9 billion, it's going to start shrinking down and it'll settle in on 6 billion. So they explained it. I'm not saying they're related, but yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I'm saying that it's a possibility because everybody keeps talking about depopulation and nuclear war and all this other stuff. It makes me quite nervous to hear all this talk. But anyway, hey, I have. Oh, you can't say hey in the Philippines. I have lived a good life. I have lived a
Say
good.
ha.
I'm okay. I'm okay. You could probably drop a nuke on me. You could probably give me cancer if you want. You could put a radioactive isotope underneath my ass in this chair if you wanted to get rid of me from spewing hate. But it would not matter to me. It would not matter to me. I just don't want to die from colon cancer, quite frankly. But if you put a radioactive isotope under my ass, that's most likely what I would get. Well, anyway, let's set all that.
Did you
Yeah,
hear?
go
Do
ahead.
you know, Dan? Do you know about the YouTube blogger that's got colon cancer? He was a Filipino
Yeah,
blogger.
you were telling me about it, and I think that's why I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a special
Hey,
guest
Eddie.
entering the chat. So I don't know. Eddie might want to escape after he starts hearing what I'm going to talk about today. So then, that's making me all nervous. All those YouTube doctors coming online and then talking about our DNA or RNA being converted into DNA in the liver, and then it reminds me of all this crap that's being spewed about Bill Gates saying that everybody needs to be double, triple, and quadruple vaccinated. If you run out of arms, we'll just stick it in your ass. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I mean, all that stuff makes me a little bit nervous, except for one thing. I do have a little bit of faith, even though people say, Dan, you're made of stone. I do have a little bit of faith, and I just happen to believe it's okay if you want to make fun of me, but I just happen to be a believer in everlasting life. All right, there, I got it out, and so it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that much. So now, some might say, well, how could a non participating Catholic believe in everlasting life? And all I could say is, none of your business.
Just because one doesn't go to church doesn't mean one doesn't believe.
Right.
I'm a believer, but I don't go to church.
If I stepped into a church and the
roof would cave in on me.
Don't be standing anywhere near me when I hit that holy water. Do not stand near me, because I don't want you to be a casualty. I don't want you to be collateral damage. All right. Hey, Lovex Kicks is in the house.
And she said hi to you guys.
Hello, I miss you.
That includes you, Eddie. She said hi to you.
I'll be sending a message your way soon. Yeah, it would be nice if I came into the live stream now and again. All right. So wow, everybody's here. I'm so excited. All right. What was I going to talk about? Oh, so this catches my attention. Setting that aside, that garbage. People have said to me, "Hey Dan, don't watch those YouTube channels that talk about that." Well, if I don't watch YouTube, I would have nothing to talk about. I would have absolutely nothing to talk about. Hey, by the way, I'm up for a little bit of YouTube gossip. When is Dustin Backpacks going to marry Richie? That's the whole thing. Who would not want to marry Richie and then have babies with that woman? Someone comment in the chat or comment later. Yes, you would not. Okay, Larry.
Uh, I don't want babies.
Who
Remember,
would not?
I'll be 70 this year. I don't
Whenever
want
I see,
little babies
listen, whenever I see
having
their
kids
relationship, I
after.
keep thinking to myself, are they ever going to get married? Because it was so sad because they just put a video up. I had tears running down my eye because you'd see how painful this was for Richie. So there, she was trying to get a visa, which is a very, very complicated process in the Philippines, to
Yeah,
get a
it is.
tourist visa to go to the United States. Folks, do not do this. It is almost impossible. So that she could go and visit the United States with Dustin. But Dustin, I have a question for you. Why is it not a fiance visa that you're trying to get for the young lady? You've been with her and shared your relationship, how close you guys are, practically a married couple. You belong together. You belong together. And so why have you two not married? Why have you two not married? Oh my goodness. It just drives me crazy to see stuff like that. I would have applied for the fiance visa and I would have taken her to the States. And that would have been great. Because then you have 90 days. You have 90 days to say I do. And then if you say I don't, then the relationship is redefined. But listen, stuff goes on in the background in personal lives. Everybody thinks that just because you put it out there on YouTube, that that there aren't any ghosts hanging around. But that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about those ghosts. So, by the way, the same thing with Finn Snow and his beautiful girlfriend, except they have gone in front of the camera and they've actually said as nicely as they possibly could, how we conduct ourselves in our relationship is none of your business. And I just happen to know that they're both very, very, uh, they're believers. I just happen to know that. But they actually got out there and said, it's not something that is anybody's business except our own. And now they're building that beautiful mansion on the top of the hill down there uh, I think where is it? Is it Dumageddon? Is it Darwin? Anyway, they bought a plot of land way up high on the hillside, overlooking the ocean, and they're now building their house. Of course,
You mean
Finn
you
Snow
mean
has had
she?
a tremendously successful career in a lot of different fields, and he's just simply a go-getter and a brilliant guy in my mind's eye, and so is his girlfriend.
Remember this,
Former
Dan. He's made one heck of a commitment if they're buying that land and building that house, because she'll get it if they break up.
Well, and that's what everybody keeps telling him, and he's like, we're
No,
kind
no,
of
I'm
like
just
the
saying he's
same.
making that commitment. He probably knows it.
Yeah, he knows. Of course, he knows
So,
it, but
so
no,
that's what I'm
no,
saying.
no. Wait,
He's
time
showing
out.
her that he's committed by doing that.
He Finn was awarded a special visa. I don't know if you know this or not. They only give out like half a dozen of these things a year, and he ended up being honored with one of them. And basically, he's allowed to do whatever the heck he wants in the Philippines. He can work. He can own property. He can do all
Okay,
this.
I didn't know he had
Yeah.
that. I don't watch Finn Snow.
Well, it's because they love him. It's because he's such a promoter of Philippine tourism that they love him so much that they awarded him this visa. It's not a special visa; it's available. It's only one of six or 10 or 12 that they offer every year, and usually go to people who have placed themselves in the public eye, and um, promote tourism or the way of life. And in Finn Snow's case, he does it all. Plus participates in the ocean cleanups, very, very much involved
Well,
in
I heard
restoring
he did a lot of good
the
things, but
coastal
like I said, I've never
environment.
watched these. I've
Both
never
him
really watched his
and his
channel.
girlfriend. Yeah. All right, where was I? Moving forward, they give out 50 special visas per year, 50, and only 6 or a dozen or so to his country, which is Norway. So, Tim, thanks for keeping me on my toes, bro. That's the answer. The answer is that there are 50 available, and there are only so many from Norway. Now, oh damn, guys, I got to talk about something. I'm really, really worried because we have a Norwegian friend and we meet for coffee every morning, and he suddenly just disappeared. And he is not that kind of guy to just simply disappear. And so we don't know what's going on. He's not answering his phone. Several messages have been left. On his cell phone with no response, and so we're not sure exactly what's going on. So I hope. Am I buffering?
No, you're fine, at least on my end.
All right. Let's
The,
talk.
the
Let's
buffer,
talk
the
about the
buffering.
ghost.
I
Oh,
was
go
gonna say the
ahead.
buffering on the last one was on my end.
Yeah,
I noticed that it was.
yeah.
I was
It
at
is.
my
Can you hear
It's
me?
sister's
kind of hard.
house,
What do you
so
got,
I had poor
Eddie?
connection.
Eddie's gearing up.
Yeah, it is
No,
gearing up.
can
He
you
even
hear
got his
me?
mic ready. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you. We can hear you. Oh
The
yeah,
front
Tim
was
Snow is
really
I'm
from
having
good.
yeah.
technical difficulties
Tim
here.
Snow is from Iceland. That's right. Tim Snow is from Iceland. Okay, so now uh, and by the way, he's mentioned the challenges of living in Iceland, and I think there's a video, Tim, that's on YouTube that talks about how quirky, how different Iceland is, and I've been meaning to go in there, and I've been meaning to watch that video, and I'm probably gonna do it today because you reminded me that it was Iceland, not Norway. Okay, so about our friend, so we have several Norwegian friends that call Bye City home. And oh, by the way, Tim, none from Iceland that I know of that I've met. And oh, by the way, a lot from the States. I met a second gentleman from Louisiana, who's the nicest person you'd ever want to meet. I'm telling you, I'm having such a good time meeting folks here in Bye City Leyte. But okay, getting back to the Norwegian, not Icelandic. Okay, Norwegian. The Norwegian guy, Hans, disappears for a week, and we didn't get back until Tuesday, so I didn't know already that we hadn't been in contact really with anybody. And Hans isn't a Facebook kind of guy. Now, there's no really way to contact him except through our other Norwegian friend, John, who's also one of Minnie's relatives, a sideways relative. Anyway, doesn't matter how we're related, but it's through Minnie's daughter, Inavi. Anyway, it's a long story, but so John says he's been trying to contact him without success, and so we're all starting to get very, very worried, and we hope that if you're out there, Hans, and you're watching, that you will check in so that everybody knows if we're okay. So now, next, okay, setting Iceland aside and Finn Snow, I was going to talk about ghosts. And what I'm talking about, ghosts from the past, I'm talking about past relationships that you've had where all of a sudden somebody shows up on your social media or somebody shows up in your Facebook or your email, and they start inquiring as to whether, here's usually how it goes. For female, it's kind of easy, right? For female, they send you this email and it says, "Oh, hi Dan, haven't long time no see, long time no chat. I just wanted to make sure that you're okay and you're still out there." This is a person that I knew from 25 years ago. And then all of a sudden, this email pops up from this person that for a relationship that it lasted a couple of years. It was a dating relationship that lasted a couple of years. And yes, it was with a Filipina. And then all of a sudden, boom, this thing shows up. And now how would you handle it? Here's how Dan handled it.
You let Minnie handle it.
Yeah, exactly. I did not it when this happens on Facebook, Larry, we had talked about this before. When this happens on Facebook and people aren't looking at the married profile, but they send you the request and you see there that it's a single woman in her 20s and her and we have only one friend in common and it's you, Larry. I kind of know. I kind of know
Turn it
already.
down.
Yeah, but once in a while they have more than one mutual friend, and then I let them in. Remember, I was telling you, if they have multiple mutual friends, well, everybody here in the Philippines knows each other, for crying out loud. They're all related. It's an island, for crying out loud. It's an island nation. Crystals is here. Yeah, I hope he's okay, Crystals. So, anyway, I ignored it. I'm no longer alive on this planet as far as you are concerned.
We lost Eddie.
We lost Eddie. So anyway, I'm no longer on this planet for you, and so I don't need to answer you because I'm not here, right?
Yeah.
But I started thinking about it, and there are other things. It's not just relationships. Deo Nick is in the house. Deo. Here's the thing. I noticed this happening. So weeks and months go by, and I've got friends from Sacramento that every now and again will send me an email. This is my own insecurity I'm about ready to talk about, by the way, folks.
Okay.
This is not similar to the ghost thing, right? They'll just check in and say, oh, this is nice. So-and-so's checking in. But I started thinking about it. I've always been nice, by the way. I've always been nice. Deo Nick is here. I've always been nice in responding to their inquiry. I've always been nice. Let's see who's here.
Anna, how you doing?
Hey, there she is. Hey, there she is.
Welcome.
Yeah, you must have something to say about this. You must have something to say about this. About all of a sudden, didn't you say at one time, Annie, that you've had many misfires in relationships, and then of course the one now, everything is going great. Obviously, it's going great. You always have a smile on your face. You're always joking around. You always are having a good time when
Hello to the
And
one in
so,
the background. Hi. Well, by the way, Dan, Deo's wanting a monitor.
oh, we got
Hi. How you
yeah,
doing?
yeah,
How you doing?
we got something here for you. I'm not paying attention. Usually, I'm looking at the chat in my phone, and now today I'm making a mistake by using the screen. All right. So anyway, I started. This is my own insecurity, Annie. This is my own insecurity that I'm talking about here, and that is that I started thinking about it, and I started thinking about, hey, people are just checking up on me, perhaps, to see if I'm still alive or if I've died already. Is that a possibility, Larry? Or am I just
Well, it's a possibility they haven't heard from you in a while, and you, for some reason, you came on their mind, and sometimes that's the same thing with an ex-girlfriend. I had an ex-girlfriend that I've connected with on Facebook,
yeah.
but we're just friends. We were friends after we broke up. We was able to stay friends, and I used to be able to keep in contact a little bit. She'd know about me, or I know about her through my brother because they were
Mhm.
friends. Then my brother passed away, so she reached out a little bit, and not the last time, but the time before last when I went home, we got together and had lunch. Uh, But like I said, it's an ex-girlfriend that we stayed friends. She was a girl that I dated that came from a family of 12 kids. Talk about a good Catholic family. 6 boys and 6 girls.
Hey now, family of 10 over here.
Family of 7 would have been 8, but my mom had a miscarriage.
Oh.
A miscarriage between myself and my younger brother. And that was a boy, so it would have been 4 and 4. I'll have tea with you, Ann. I got green tea I'm drinking, no sugar.
Oh, that's too healthy for you there, Larry. You need some.
Well, it was either that or water. I decided to have the tea. I had my coffee at work. That's good, Tim. Hopefully you will get your desktop fixed.
Si Anna May. Let's eat.
So that's my insecurity. Everybody's just checking in to see, did Dan make it through to another year, or has he kicked the bucket? So now, look, I would do it. I would do the same thing. As a matter of fact, I have done it. So anyway, okay, where are we? I noticed this. This got me thinking about other stuff this week. In the time between the...
I noticed this.
Uh-oh.
That was me again. I went to a different phone.
Uh-oh.
I just joined Dano's channel. Deo, I mean.
All right, I got Eddie back up.
Hey, Eddie. Now, Eddie, I got a question for you.
I'm having technical difficulties. I don't know if I'll stay on, but we'll see.
That's all right. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
When's Joyce putting up her vlogs from your guys' trip to the Philippines? Did you hear me?
She's been putting up short videos, reels on Facebook.
Okay.
Friends with her on Facebook? I think you are.
Tell her to put it on her YouTube channel so I can check it out.
People, that's Facebook. So that's that's part of this conversation I want to talk about.
All right, I'll let her know.
I start thinking about other things, right? I start thinking about other things, and then I notice on Facebook. By the way, Larry, you're doing a great job now. When you're putting up the thought for the day, you're doing a part of the stuff that you were putting up before. You probably figured out.
Yes.
You probably figured out. It weirded me out a little bit because there's a hidden negative message in some of that stuff. But the last couple of ones that you posted were ideal. They were perfect.
The reason why I got to one about the scam,
this
is not women scamming men or men scamming women. I almost got scammed on Monday when I was driving to my sister. So I thought, well, let's talk about and then I received an email later in the week from somebody trying to blackmail me. And I know it was a scam because he had nothing to blackmail me on.
I was going to say, usually when I get these requests on Facebook, I will send a message back, especially if they're trying to call me. Oh, so sorry. I was unable to answer your call because I'm sitting here having dinner with my wife. And interestingly enough, they will email back. Usually they'll say something like, "Oh, so sorry to have disturbed you. Enjoy your meal." So it's a very cordial exchange. It's a very cordial exchange that doesn't get ugly at all.
No, like I said, I got this one, and like I said, we'll talk about it tomorrow. But I got this one email, and the guy says, "Oh, well, you'll know why I waited. A while back, you downloaded something, and it was a Trojan. Now I got control on your devices, and I control your cameras, and I know what the porn
you know what I would have done? Well, then you have no problem seeing this, and then you flip them the bird. You flip them the bird. If you control the camera, then you'll have no problem seeing this.
Yeah. Well, see, I know they're lying because The only camera they might have control over, this thing here covers it. So when I go offline, that
That's
goes
for
over.
you, buddy. That's for you.
You know, all I got to do is that, and my camera is covered. You can't
Yeah.
see anything.
Yeah.
So I know he's lying. Plus, I haven't been to a porn site in so bloody long.
But
He got nothing on me.
those
So I know
affirmations, he's
fishing
you're
to try to
posting,
blackmail me.
that's what
If it's a
mostly what
he.
I'm talking about. And so when I go on to other people, so I've been paying attention. This is why I don't necessarily, I'm not a big fan of Facebook, even though I use it from time to time to get messages out. But here's the thing. You can reveal too much about yourself on Facebook. I'm not talking about basic biographical information, stuff like that. I'm talking about your personality can be revealed, just like on YouTube. It can be revealed to the point where someone actually can take advantage of you if they wanted to, because there's certain key things that people can say where you can get a handle on their personality. So let me give it, for example, if you continually have to post Facebook messages talking about how that you don't care about what other people think of you, basically what you're doing is telling people you care about what other people think of you. Are you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm saying I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and so you don't do that. In other words, there are ways of
You just ignore them.
that. Yeah,
You might
basically,
say it once, but you don't continuously say it.
people get the message of your personality, but mostly by what you don't do as opposed to what you do. If you're a strong, confident person, you don't really answer to the negativity that's out there. That's my opinion. I mean, other people may have a different take on it, but if you have a very, if you're confident in your own self, there's no need to put out stuff like that on Facebook. I don't care if you think that I'm a B, blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to ignore you. That's an example. Yeah.
Well, that's all right to put that out as long as you follow through and ignore them.
I don't think you put any of that out, because by you putting that out, I've discovered your weakness. And so I'm going to take advantage of it if I can.
Hey, Nate, man, how you doing?
I'm just that kind of guy. If I need to, at that point, you've given me enough ammunition to go on an attack, to go in attack mode, which I wouldn't do. I've got better things to do but other people do have time on their hands. And so those people that have time on their hands, they're going to see the same thing that I see. They're going to see the weakness in the statement. For example, I just want to give you an example. Insecure personality types. This is what we're talking about. And so this gal, this segue and the relationship between this gal sending me the email was that the relationship could not have worked out because she had personality defects that they didn't mesh well with mine, with my defective.
Because we all have personality defects.
Yeah, exactly. In other words, you don't want your personality defects they would clash.
Yeah, in other words, you'd
Because
be
I'm
arguing all the time.
for the most part, I have my faults, but for the most part, I'm a forward-thinking, positive person. And so if you're around me and you're sharing your insecurities, I try and get rid of you out of my life as quickly as possible. So I try to
be the kind of person just
yeah,
deal with it later.
Because you become the people you hang around with. And I think people have mentioned this. I think Crystals, I think Annie mentioned this once or twice, right? If you hang around with, for example, God-fearing people, then you yourself would become God-fearing. That's just one example. I'm paraphrasing, of course. I'm not quoting.
Yeah, I understand.
There's Des. Des, thanks so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for the feeding of those kids in Caridad. We're having fried chickens on the menu and spaghetti's on the menu, and a good time is on the menu. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and Mel taking the lead on that. You know, providing sponsorship for stuff like that, that's the easy part. The hard work is really doing the preparations and giving it your time, especially giving your time. Hey, Des, we're going to be hanging around. Oh, you're going with JJ. Okay, we're going to be hanging around. We'll be there in about an hour or so, and we'll be at our usual spot, my usual seat at the DD at the Dunkin' Donuts. That's where you could find us. Let's see. What was I going to say? Okay, so
Des says hello, everyone in the chat and in the panel.
hello, Larice, and everyone. Who are we saying hello to?
I'm just saying, Des said hello to everybody, the
Everybody,
chat and the
okay.
panel.
Hello, Des. We'll see you soon. All right, now, anxious, preoccupied, avoidant, and fearful are insecure personality types. But I constantly see this on Facebook. I constantly see this over and over again. Sir Luke is here. Sir Luke, what a nice guy you are. You know what I'm talking about. You're a really nice person. Sir Luke knows. So these are if you know that you're suffering from these, maybe you don't know. I would not advertise this on Facebook. Facebook would be the last venue that I would discuss these sort of things or expose. I don't want to be exposed as having these anxious, preoccupied, avoidant, and fearful personality traits. What are we talking about? They're the most expressive. This personality type is the most expressive in their behavior when they feel real or imagine that they're going to be abandoned. The avoidant type can come across as independent, confident, needing and wanting their space and autonomy. And I believe that is me. I believe that is me. But why would I want to go in there on Facebook and reveal that part of my personality? That's the point here that I'm trying to make. And so in this particular case, the one where I get the email from the individual in question, I'm reminded of the reason why this particular relationship did not bear fruit, if you will. And that's basically because of those words that she used to use, which clued me in that she had certain personality things going on, behaviors going on that did not mesh well. I did it again. Thinking of Mel, I guess. Mesh well with mine. And so, as you pointed out, Larry, you want to hang around with someone that is your match. And you don't really want to waste your time with somebody that you know is not going to be a good match for you.
I had a relationship like that. I like to go out and travel, and they wanted to stay home all the time.
I'm kind of a homebody, but when I spend a little bit, like this is one of the reasons why we rented the apartment in Cebu, quite frankly. Bye-bye at times can be a very, very boring place to live. And I found myself sitting in front of the television set watching my favorite YouTubers while consuming a tiny bit more in alcoholic beverages.
I was going to say adult beverages.
Yeah, we could say adult beverages than I should be. And so in order to take myself out of that realm, I'm smart enough to know that sometimes environment comes into play.
Oh, yeah.
Environment and changing it up can sometimes come into play. And so this is because I need other things to do. So instead of what I should have been doing was getting out there and exploring the island of Leyte. That's what I should be doing. In fact, that's what I will be doing as we move back and forth between Cebu and Bye Bye.
Okay.
Should be out there exploring it because we've got beautiful
TV.
things to share with people. We've got things that should be shared with people. A lot of people don't know we've got white sandy beaches. I don't know where they are. They don't know we have waterfalls and caves to be explored, and all these beautiful things that need to be seen. But I also find
It's all
city.
a matter of preference when it comes to retirement.
Yeah. Well,
Now, I'll be honest with you. One of the reasons why I started doing the video or the YouTube is I know me. Once I retire, yeah, I'll be all right for a while laying around doing nothing, but that's not good for me. And so I need something to get myself up off the couch and out the door. Uh, and that's the reason why I joined the gym so I can get in better shape for walking and that kind of stuff. Because
Yeah,
whether I move to the
as
Philippines
you
or not
as you
has
get
nothing
older,
to
it
do with
depends
it.
on your
I want to
energy
retire when I can
level, how far
afford
you can go with things.
it. Yeah, and like I said, so like getting in better shape and getting the YouTube channel going a little bit because I can do more once I retire. I got a couple of videos. I don't know if you guys saw the short I put up about the menu with the food. It had over 1,000 hits, had over 1,100 hits, and I got a couple more small videos of the trip to uh, the pancake place. Now I want to do some more, but I have to, with the time off I have, around here there's not a lot. There is some, but I did a lot of that last year. You know, I got to find some more things to do around here. But if I go up
you
to where I used to live, there's things to do up there. So I'll go out and
YouTube,
visit and do some
Larry,
things.
YouTube has actually helped me with this, if you will, personality defect or
Yeah.
undulation. Personality trait, I guess, is a better way to say it. It's not
Oh,
really
yeah.
a defect; it's a trait. Because one of the reasons why I'm in this category is because I don't allow people to become very close to me.
I understand.
I'm
Well, like I said,
noticing with my
that's
personality that, for example, you may, if you get close to me, then that may allow you to see things that you will not like about me, and you will abandon me. And so they're childhood relationship things going on in the background here.
well,
To avoid this
I have a lot of
experience
trauma
of
from my
thinking,
childhood.
So your opinion on life is also quite different than anybody else's.
well, people have said that to me also. They've said that to me, yes.
Well,
To
so you
avoid the
notice
painful
how easy I
experience
talk to people.
of abandonment, then I employ avoidance.
But Dan,
See?
you notice how easy I can communicate with people or interact with people. That's from
Right.
my childhood. By the time I was 13, I lived in 18 different houses, so I had to learn how to talk to people that I didn't know. Uh,
Hmm.
because then
That makes
the
sense.
thing that helped me as far as the moving part was I always had my family. My family's close. But like I said, I went to 6 different elementary schools, one of them twice. I went there in kindergarten, I went there again in 4th grade, but 6 different elementary schools. So I moved a lot.
Going together with that, though, also avoidance and abandonment, and that side is the fearful aspect of my personality. And so, in general, fearful people want a loving relationship, but don't really believe in it. Always feeling the other shoe will drop on them at some point. So, in general, they're fearful of close relationships or when things start to become emotionally close. So, these folks, for example, these folks sending me the emails, Dan, how's it going and everything. I have learned to, I have learned to accept that, oh, these people generally are want to know. I think they're being nice, and they generally want to know how life is in the Philippines. But in the back of my mind, I'm constantly always thinking that because they want me to fail. You see that, Eddie? Eddie, did you get that? Larry, did you get that?
Oh
Because
yeah.
in the back of my mind, they secretly want me to fail. Now that I'm not saying that's what they are thinking. I'm saying that's what I am thinking.
I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know. You're a social distancer.
Yes, social dissonance. That's
Did you
right.
say you're a social distancer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and so
Yeah.
the therapy for that is the polar opposite. The therapy for that is you start a YouTube channel and you make
Right.
friends. And you meet with them. You have meet and greets and you start getting used to being around people. And then you discover what? That they're genuine.
So,
They're
so let me ask you,
they're
Dan,
genuine.
have you thought this way all your life, or has it become more of an obvious to you because now you're retired and you're not, in the fast lane in California or in the U.S. going back and forth, working, paying bills? Has it come to fruition now that you're retired and you're sitting at home watching TV and drinking a beer?
It, honestly, Eddie, it's always been this way for me. It has always been this way.
Okay.
So no, now is the time to do something about it.
Well,
Now is the time to address
correct.
address it. Yeah. Because you don't I think most people don't want to leave the planet alone. I think most people don't want to leave it alone. You want to have somebody hanging around saying, "Oh yeah, but I don't know why it's like this. I don't know why
Nobody
human
wants
nature is like this.
to die
Part of the
alone.
human condition." People don't want to be, basically, they don't want to be alone. Crystal's chiming in here saying, "I feel you, Sir Dan. I've been hibernating for so long.
Alone, period.
No social life at all." Would you even know? Would you even know how to be social again, Crystals? That's a question.
Oh, like I said with you and Crystal, the only socializing I do is like you all know about my friend that lives a couple miles from me. Her and her family, and my family, and that's it. I mean, otherwise I go grocery shopping. I go shopping. I rarely I go out, and sit down, and eat. Probably been a month or two since. Well, on this trip I did. I'm not talking about on the trip. I'm talking about here at home. I almost never go out and get something to eat and sit down and eat it at the restaurant. It just, and I used to do that all the time, but the last couple of years, since before when the pandemic first started, and then I moved down here, and I've been down here over 2 years. Almost never go out. I don't go to bars. I haven't gotten to a bar and had something to drink in, oh God, uh, 20 years or more. I mean, unless somebody else is driving or I can walk there and back, I don't go drinking in bars. I just don't do it.
Yeah, but
So
that
my
comes with
Okay,
age,
socializing,
though, Larry. That comes with age, and what Dan's talking about is different, though. Dan's had this
no,
thing
what I'm
for a
saying is
while. I
though,
mean, what
I
you're
used
talking
to go
about,
to
I
the
can't go to
bars all the
bars
time. I
anymore
used to
either.
socialize, but I just don't
Yeah,
do it anymore.
yeah, me too. But as you get older, you just
Yeah, but
end up
you're
not
married. I'm
hanging around
single.
that
I
crowd
stay home by
anymore.
myself.
Oh, when I was single too, though, I didn't really hang out at bars because it was all nothing but trouble. Even the women were trouble, so why bother?
I used to go to the bars. Once I
So,
quit
but what
drinking and
Dan's talking
driving.
about is different. I think ours is ours is
Oh yeah,
happening
his
with
is different,
change.
but I'm just saying.
Ours
I
happens
understand the
with
non
change as you get
socializing.
older. Yeah. Yeah.
So then here's
Jim
the
says
other
his
thing.
computer guy's there. He'll be in the background.
Again, I don't know why people want to publicly advertise who they are to the degree they do. Some people do on Facebook. For example, let's talk about control. Let's talk about people who like to control. There are control words that go along with that. In a balanced and healthy relationship, both the guy and the gal never lose their independent identity. So in this thing that's going back and forth on the internet about Passport Bro, it's clear to me that people don't really understand the history of it. What the sociology behind it is, what the demographics behind it is. People don't get it. People don't get what this is really all about. So I don't want to put it out there either because I don't want to get bashed by anybody. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you an example of Filipino demographics, right? I hope that you could read between the lines and understand what's going on here. In the Philippines, you have a population greater than 110 million people. I don't know where it's at now. Maybe it's 113 million by now. It will grow to 150 million by somewhere around 2050 or so, if demographic trends continue, but they won't. Because anytime you start talking about demographics, it never turns out exactly the way that you think it's going to turn out. So I appreciate all the social scientists trying to put this together, but it probably isn't going to turn out the way they think because there's already a demographic what do they call that? Undulation happening, a downturn in population in the Philippines. But Rabuti said something interesting in her latest video. And then she said the Philippines is one of the most diverse countries in the world. And I do believe that she is correct. You can't just look at everybody thinking that they're the same and they have the same backgrounds. They do not. It would be
It's different
easier
from island to island.
Yeah, it would be easier to come up with a short list of countries that did not conquer the Philippines and occupy them.
Well, it's also
So
though it's different from island to island because when you really
exactly
develop
the
your
point,
culture,
Larry.
the travel wasn't as prevalent. So you had less interaction with people from. It's like we had a bigger diversity back in the 1800s and early 1900s before our infrastructure was built up.
Right.
So I mean, there's people in the South and there's still people this way today. There's
Cali
people that never
King,
left their hometown.
916 is in the house. Go Kings, made the playoff spot. And NetBan
But
says, Dan, most people are good people. If not, then the world would stop working. He's correct about that. That's a truism. But check this out. Continue on with the conversation a little bit, Larry. You hit it right on the money. Where I was going with diversity, and that is it. It's an island nation, and so each island had its own ethnic identity. That's the point. That's the point that she was making, and you guys are absolutely right about this. So, but when you develop a healthy relationship, this was the other problem with this particular relationship with this young lady. When a person is insecure, which she was and I was, he or she will be threatened if you find any happiness outside your relationship life, even when you're just hanging out with your friends, or he or she is going to get upset or feel uncomfortable. And that is very, very true when it comes to a controlling personality trait.
My youngest sister was in one of those relationships with her first husband.
Shocked here.
Yeah.
Pulling up some facts up. And the most country in the world is Chad, Cameroon, and Nigeria, African countries. and the
Wow.
Philippines is actually quite a ways down there, to be honest. So
How
these are
far?
facts,
How far down the
and
road?
they're based.
Well, again, I think this has to do.
I have to.
Now, are they
Eddie,
talking about race or are they talking about culture?
yeah, I think we're talking about if they always want to talk about race. They always want to talk about race separate of culture, as Larry pointed out. And so that's
Okay,
the
so
problem with some of those.
this is regarding array of languages, customs, religions, race, ethnicities, values, traditions, and more.
Yeah.
So that's what this is
How many
based
different
on.
languages
Those
are there in
things
the Philippines? I mean, there's a lot of different languages.
Right.
I mean, there's
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I could
Yeah,
word it this way, Eddie. I could word it this way. The Philippines themselves feel as though they are one of the most culturally diversified countries on the planet. But they
all
will.
right. Tim said his computer's fixed.
That's great. But they actually define what they're talking about, and the definition hangs pretty close to what Larry's talking about. The difference is because they are a 7,000 island nation, and each person, each individual island, a lot of times they have
they're marked number 4.
or different cultural differences.
Like I said, we used to be here in the States a lot more culturally different. Like I said, in the 1800s, especially late 1800s, early 1900s, before we started having this mass transportation across the country where we could interact with each other. Uh, and you can hear it in our languages. I mean, the South has a certain dialect. Uh, Now it's the same language, but the Midwest, the East, the West Coast, there's a difference, but it's not so
Tim,
much that we can't overcome it.
Tim, I know this is part of it. There are over 180 different dialects in the Philippines. I know that they consider that. They consider the whole, everything, dialect, culture, ethnicity, who mixed with who, the Chinese, the Americans, the Spanish. Often, though, in these types of relationships, and I found it to be true in this particular one, they're going to go and they're going to try and interfere and guilt you into canceling your plans and talk about they're going to give danger signals. The personality wants to be the only thing in your life, and he or she will do whatever it takes to make sure that becomes your reality. And sometimes they're successful in allowing that to happen. Including they will lie, manipulate, and get bossy to keep you under their wing.
Yeah.
Always asking you where you were and questioning you about the details.
All right, how come it took so long?
Yeah, you might not notice it at first, but it will start snowballing, and you will need to get out before you get trapped in a cycle of demeaning negativity.
Well, like I said, my little sister was in that kind of relationship with her first husband.
Somebody
She's down by our house. He if she stayed more than a couple of minutes, he wanted to know why. Now you can go ahead and his family
talking about. Hey, by the way, we're running out of ideas for videos, and so that's why I like to live stream. Because if you go and look in YouTube lately, Rebeauty is a kind of a cool example of this. She does a beautiful job because she's easy on the eyes, right? So she's easy.
She's easy on the eyes.
Yeah, she's easy to watch, which doesn't hurt, right? So you go in there and you listen to what she has to say. I can tell you exactly where she got the information on the web for the stuff that she's talking about. So go in and watch the one where she talks about the 5 or 10 things that you may or may not know about the Philippines, and then go to backpacking.com where you're doing that. And then you'll see that she went into the website and she grabbed the ones that appealed to her, and then she just pretty much restated it in her own way, which is what you should be doing in her YouTube video, which I thought was cute.
So you want to hear some demographic?
And the reason why I'm sitting there, Man Minnie, yeah, Man Minnie and I were sitting there, and I'm looking over at Man Minnie, and Minnie goes to me. She said, "She stole your idea." Yeah, I started laughing because that was going to be my next video. My next video was going to be a talking head video where I was going to be talking about some odd things that exist in the Philippines, and then Rebuti just
Beat you
exa-
to
just
it.
yeah, she's ahead of me by 1 hour. I was getting ready to film this or tape this, and then boom, I see it online. I go in there, I watch, and I go, well,
So here's
that idea is
a
done.
couple of graphic YouTube demographic genders. 54.4% of YouTubers total users are male.
Yes,
45.6 are female.
Eddie,
11.9
how
of the
did you know?
male and 8.8 of female YouTube users are
You're
25 to
reading my
34
mind all the
years
time.
of age
You're reading my
bracket.
mind all the time. This is why, Eddie. This is the reason
Most
why this is. I was going that way. This is the reason why you're not going to see the type of conflict in relationships being aired by Filipino YouTubers when they start talking about Philippine and Filipino relationships. They're almost 1-to-1 in terms of population. They're almost identical. They have 50 up. They have 50 down. They have 50 women, 50 men. There's one, and also when you look at age groups, there's an available man for every available woman in the Philippines. And so I found that to be important information when you're talking about why we don't see the type of demographic conflicts that we see in the United States. And that, my friend, is where Passport Bros comes from. That's exactly where it comes from. Most Black females, whether you like it or not, do not like the idea of marrying outside their race. That is a fact. And so when you have Passport Bro leaving the country and going over to the Philippines, who welcome everybody, they welcome everybody, not only the men, but not only the women, but the men too. There is no conflict. They don't look at you and say,
I know what
"Oh,
that is
yeah,
of races. I don't I don't know what the race it comes to race people because more late showing up. I don't know what the facts are of certain races that are showing up, whether they're white, Mexican, Hispanic, African American. I don't know what that number is of facts. I haven't looked that up, but you're right that passport bros are becoming a now, and because they're getting wind of it now, they really are. They're getting wind of it.
yeah, but
And let's
Passport
face
Bro."
it, you can get a young, prettier woman in your own country.
Yeah,
Well,
but Eddie, you're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up. But
Yeah.
here's the thing, Eddie. You make a really good point, but they don't see color. They don't see color here. I think you pointed that out. They see foreigner, they
Well,
see American, they see a Latin man, a Hispanic man, but they don't. In other words, they don't identify necessarily by race, but they do by what country you're from. They'll go, oh, that man is American, or that man is Norwegian, that man is from Iceland. In other words, some
yes,
do.
they go by the country. You're right.
Yeah, they go by the country. So nobody steals my ideas. Tim said, I don't have any clue what ideas to make videos about. Yeah. Well, hey, whatever ideas you have, they've been done, Tim.
I've
Oh my
seen
God.
videos, I've heard or interviews of women Filipino women that they go out and they say, I don't know, I saw somebody interviewing people in the streets, and you've probably seen the videos, and they ask them, would you rather date a Filipino or a foreigner? And they say a foreigner, and they say, what kind of foreigner? Someone from the UK. Why the UK? Well, because I've experienced an American before and I didn't like it, or vice versa.
Yeah,
I think Louis Beauty did a thing like that.
Tim is saying Filipinos are looking for things like security for them, including safety and financial, mostly financial. Yeah, but that doesn't make them different from any other woman
No, that's the same thing that's going on over here.
No.
Yeah, or man anywhere. As a matter of fact, women are getting pretty smart. In the States, they're seeking out older men who are financially established, who have a home, who have all the goodies, who have an extra car in the driveway that they could drive. I mean,
and they're either seeking out the older guy or they're seeking the guy that makes more money than they do. So let's say
Yep.
she's a school teacher. She wants a
But-
lawyer or a doctor.
I'm stepping
She's a
in it
gas
now,
station
Larry.
worker. She wants
I can feel
somebody that's got a
myself about ready
good,
to
much
step
better
in it.
paying job.
I feel like I'm going to step
I don't
in
know
it.
if you're looking.
We're going to
I
move.
don't know if you're
We're going
looking
to
for
move.
some.
We're gonna move a little bit sideways. Eddie, I think you know what I'm thinking. I don't want to say the words. I don't want to say the words. But there was a time, Eddie, that I do believe I was the only Mexican in the entire Philippines.
No.
There was a time 25 years ago where they didn't know what to make of me. They looked at me and they go, well, the man has a nose like a bird, so that's good enough for me.
Jerry,
They love that nose, though, don't they?
Yeah, they love it. They love the nose. They love the nose. So once I
Yeah.
found that out,
My wife
then-
loves my nose, and you know what? Everyone
Yeah,
in the U.S.
exactly.
used to call me Big Nose or something.
Uh-huh. Yeah, once I found that out, I was like having the greatest time of my life.
well, remember Jerry? I call South Texas home.
Yeah,
A lot of times they think you got, some of you guys they think are Filipino.
yeah.
Because you got the look a little bit more. I mean, they're never going to mistake me for a Filipino. Let's be honest about it. I got bluish color eyes, very fair skin. So, like I said, I'm never going to be mistaken for a Filipino. Now, until I open my mouth, they might mistake me from one of the European countries, but never the Philippines
Hey,
or any of the Asian countries.
Larry, can you imagine so now we're talking about this gal, right? The ghost from the past that shows up. So now,
Yeah.
can you imagine you have two people that are fearful and envious? So you have two people that have this personality trait. Can you imagine what kind of a relationship that would have been like? And she kept asking me over and over again, when are you going to marry me so that we can have babies? And I said during the very beginning, we haven't gotten even past the courting stage.
Yeah.
And then you're already talking about marriage and having babies. So the manipulation of each other, the jealousy and the play, and we were constantly playing this control card. We were constantly using control words. She would have no trouble whatsoever searching through my phone without permission to see who I had been chatting with, by the way. She always would talk about the possibility of being traded in for a younger model. This was due to obviously low self-esteem.
Oh yeah.
And she didn't deem herself worthy, although she never admitted it. She just showed it in her actions. And so these are the types of things that people are showing all the time on Facebook. And I just shake my head, but I try never to get involved in online controversy. People have sent me some interesting messages, private messages through Messenger, where they would say, they would say things to me like, "Don't you care about me anymore because you hardly acknowledge me when I'm in the comment section of your live stream." They've actually sent me messages like that. And then I'm thinking to myself, holy crap.
Well, I try to
They
say
want
hi to
recognition.
everybody. Sometimes you miss somebody, but now, like I said, I could never be mistaken for a Filipino, but I can be mistaken for Santa Claus. Let me show you.
Others, oh yeah, there you go. I love it.
I mean, I got the white beard.
Let's talk about a different tactic. How about the constant attack on your self-worth?
Oh yeah,
Where
people do that a lot.
they'll make you feel bad about yourself because you're not getting that. You got passed over for promotion at work that was going to result in 20% increase in pay.
Well, there's that too. Plus, if somebody really wanted to try to put me down, and we're in a conversation, go, well, you're just a security guard. That would be somebody trying to say, well, your opinion doesn't matter. I don't
Well,
care.
they just revealed who they were to you.
Oh yeah, they do
So
that all the time.
I'm going to be grateful to them for revealing who they are, because
But I'm
now I
just saying,
know.
I've seen that done with other
Yeah.
people. Like I said, when I was in college, there was a kid working as a janitor. And they said, I would never do that. Well, I did that when I was in high school. It's an honest job. It pays. It just shows me that you don't think much of honest work. You'd rather be a crook or stay home and draw, where's the respect in that? Staying home and not working when you can be working.
If you wanted to, Larry, you could actually have so much control over that person if you were that way, but I know you're not. Let's continue on. Insecure personalities just aren't comfortable in their own skin. This is one of the things you'll notice about it. But I also notice about it. I also notice it on Facebook that it'll come through. I will remain strong during this period of uncertainty is not something that you would see me putting up on Facebook, because without defining what the period of uncertainty is, I wouldn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah.
But I would get the sense that you were insecure or that you were uncomfortable in your own skin.
I don't put stuff up that says I will. I put things up that say stay strong. This, the storm will pass, and you're. But I'll never say, because I'm not going through a storm, but I'll still put that up.
Mm-hmm.
But like
people have
I try to put up encouraging thoughts for people
publicly on Facebook and TikTok, like in the situation with Passport Bros. They are vying for that attention, and most likely they're vying for that attention because they're going through their own period of insecurity. And one way that you can one way they tend to deal with that is by publicly judging others.
Yeah.
That would be one way to identify them as being insecure or uncomfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
They tend to need, and also YouTube and Facebook, they are tools for insecure people who have a desire and need for a constant supply of flattery, which also can make them a little bit addicted to the social media platforms.
Yeah. And that happened before social media. I knew
so
back when I was in the Navy, I knew a girl that if you told her how good looking she was, it wasn't too hard to get her in bed.
For me, it tends to be a little bit emotionally draining. And so I've learned to get away from those kind of folks as quickly as I possibly can.
Well, like I said, this girl, I didn't date her, but I talked to her and I knew the way she was reacting. She wanted that constant affirmation of her looks. And the more
By the
you
way,
accomplish,
remember I was saying in the beginning, Larry, that I suffer from this personality defect or trait.
Yeah.
Typically, this type of insecure personality will make you feel like an idiot and guilty and hold a rock solid grudge. So think about this for a minute. Think about the verbiage that I use and then associate it with the statement that I just made. You know, I've been called a rock. I've been called stone. I've been calling, I'm a rock. I'm stone. I call myself these things.
now, have you been called heartless?
And I've been called heartless.
Okay.
These things happen slowly and everything
No.
is always blown way out of proportion. Yes.
So Dan, how many subscribers do you have?
I think 2.5K right now and growing. I'm not gaining at a really
And
fast
can you
speed.
imagine
About,
if you get more?
yeah, 70 per month. Oh, by the way, I do, you know, your statement earlier about Dan, you're unusual or whatever. Or what did you say? You said you don't think the way that a lot of people think. Well, I have actually had people send me private messages that have made that statement saying that I really like the way you think. I identify with you more than anyone else on YouTube for these reasons. You know, I think I got that response when I talked. I got a lot of those kind of responses when I started talking about. I made a statement, something like, "A home is not an investment. A home is where you provide stability for your family. To look at a home and expect it to appreciate and value is ridiculous." I made some kind of statement like that. And I get these flood of emails that were mostly from men and a few from women that said that, man, I appreciate you so much. You know, there seems to be such a weird view of that. You know, a home is to provide, the main purpose is to provide stability for your family. And stability for your family, especially when you have young children growing up in there, is extremely important. But it also is extremely important when you are marrying a Filipina and she's getting rid of those sea legs. She's coming over here, doesn't know what to expect. One thing that you must do that I've learned is you must provide a stable environment and introduce her to friends quickly so that she realizes that there are many more people like her in this situation around. And I've noticed that relationships have gone south when they try to sequester her, you know, and not allow her to work or not allow her to go out into the world and meet other people and those types of things. Then the relationship has tended to go south for some people. So anyway, I got a ton.
Yeah,
I got a flurry of emails that said, "Oh my gosh," and they were from all over the world that said, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea that there was a person like you out there."
Oh, Eddie,
It was very flattering. It was very flattering.
Abel Torres says to the handsome co-host named Eddie, "Hello, sir."
Eddie is a very handsome guy. Eddie is
Also
probably
married guy. Just let Bob
Eddie's gonna boost my Eddie's gonna boost,
popularity.
yeah, he's gonna boost my ratings up quite a bit.
With
So
the
anyway,
ladies.
this is all the stuff, and so this is very you guys in the chat, you guys here, you on the panel, you understand the reason why I went sideways. So when I got this email, and I have instant recall of that relationship, and the reason why it didn't work out, I go straight to this. The personality traits. Why did these, you know, why did the relationship not work out? What were the conflicts? And all I'm doing is sharing this with you. That's all I'm doing is sharing it with you.
Well, hold on. Let me recognize Miss Torres out there and say thank you for the compliment.
Mabel, thanks.
I thought she was related to you because she called you, I think,
Uncle.
cousin, uncle.
Yeah. Uncle
Is that
Dan. Yeah.
Uncle Dan?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the highest compliment I think that that a Filipina who is not related to you can pay you. So I really appreciate
Correct.
that. Well, in the beginning, it can make you feel odd until you go back and you do a little bit of studying of the culture, and then when they make that reference, it's an extremely high compliment, and so I truly
So
appreciate that.
when I would say, Dan, I want to follow up on your comment about the house should be for your family. I agree with that.
Yeah,
But I see it as that absolutely you want a foundation for your family. My son grew up in the same house all the way till he's 20, going to be 23 here now. And we had the same house for the whole time. But at the same time, though, at the end of my life, or when I sell the house, that becomes an inheritance to them as well.
right,
It's going to
right.
be an investment for them. This is also an investment. So that's the other reason for me, anyways.
Sure. Eddie, I agree with you 100%. Sure. So, but it's the house that you're gifting. It's not the investment in the house. In other words, it's the house you're gifting, and it's a tremendous gift. It's not the money that the house is worth.
Right.
See, you know why it's a tremendous gift? Because as you've learned, and I've learned, and others here in the chat, in the Philippines, they don't have this cultural concept, this idea that once a person turns 18, you kick them out of the house. And so the home is the greatest gift that you can give or pass down to someone in any person's culture, because it means that they will never have to be stressed about having to deal with where they're going to live.
Correct.
You're taking a tremendous burden, and if you did want to put a value on it, it would be very difficult, because it is worth like gold in the United States to be able to pass down a home to your children.
The
Especially,
thing is, though, if they have siblings, there's going to have to be a monetary value put on it, because unless one doesn't want anything to do
not
with it,
necessarily. It could be
or
held
you
in
cut one
trust.
out of the will.
The way that I would do it is I would put it in a trust, and then the only time you really have to put a value of the house on the house is it when you put it in the trust. It's the value that the home is worth.
Every situation is different, though, for anybody.
Yeah.
Every
Well, like I said,
situation is
I've known that
That's true.
houses
That's true.
in the family, one
Yeah.
would go ahead
Hey,
and
Dan,
get the house
I have a
valuated,
situation
and they
in
would
my
pay the
thing.
other one half of what it was worth and buy the house.
I have a daughter who doesn't want nothing to do with me for some reason.
Well, then she
Not
doesn't
giving
get
me
the
any
house.
reason, but she's not going to get anything from me then, right?
Yeah.
Why should I give her anything? My other kids will get something. You know
Eddie,
what I'm saying?
Eddie, you know we have something in common there that I
know we do, because you asked me about that, and you know what?
Yeah.
I don't mind doing that for you.
Well,
I don't mind
you know
doing
what?
that.
Here's a weird turn of events about that. One of my sons, who's a traveling nurse, is in Santa Fe right now on a contract. Yeah, so that's a beautiful thing. And so now I have a son there who I know they're going to have a conversation about this.
Wait, your son is here in New Mexico?
Yeah, he's there right now. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
He's there right now. He's there in Santa Fe. So he's on nursing assignment. He's a traveling nurse.
Okay.
So I know they're going to have a conversation about it. Of course, he's been there for a couple months now. I think he's on 6-month assignment. And so I know they're going to have a conversation. Not only so my ex-wife remarried and she had more kids. I didn't reveal to you, Eddie, that he's got his sister that's there in Albuquerque. And by the way, they're graduates of University of New Mexico at Albuquerque. So they weren't.
UNM.
She's not a slouch. She has a master's degree. She has 2 master's degree from there. She also taught at one of the local community colleges. So she's a doer. She doesn't sit on her hands. But
Right.
but when my ex-wife remarried, they had several more children, and it turns out that 3 or 4 of them graduated. The half siblings of them graduated from the University of New Mexico at Albuquerque, also. So they're all
Okay.
there. There's like a whole bunch of them living there that, that he's related to. So obviously he misses it. He misses his siblings. So he jumped at the opportunity to go there, and so I know that they'll be spending a lot of time together. It's like a family reunion sort of thing. So I
Right.
hope I've left him alone for a couple of months. I haven't talked to him, and
Oh, but
hopefully,
you do talk to him. You have a relationship with him.
yeah, fantastic one. As a matter of fact,
Oh, okay, that's great. Because
before coming,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I'm sure your name will come up.
yeah, I'm sure, I'm sure my name will come up. I hope my name will not be spoken in vain.
Yeah.
But,
Hopefully, it's
yeah.
not slung around in the mud.
So I think
and he defends you.
yeah, I'm hoping. I'm crossing my fingers. I'll soon hear from
Yeah.
him. I sent him an email last night.
I
And
told my
so-
son that too. My younger one
Yeah.
went to go see his sister, and I said, I hope, son, that you at least defend me in anything that when my name comes up. I got this
I
conscience
know.
like, oh my gosh, I hope he's not.
But I wanted to say this to you, Eddie. I wanted to say this to you. I want to tell you that I've been thinking a lot about that because I'm about ready to disperse some money, not life-changing money, but things are going really well, and I'm just thinking that I'm gonna share some of that blessings with them.
Sure.
And I started thinking
Don't
a lot
forget to
about
adopt me, Dan.
Say it again.
So don't forget to adopt me.
Yeah, I started thinking about this whole daughter thing. So this whole daddy daughter thing, I started thinking about it, and the more thought I give to it, I go, it's sort of like I started thinking that it was sort of like punishment. That if I cut her out of the equation, that it would be like continued conflict between us that would last through eternity, and so
Yeah.
I started thinking about this.
Well,
Do I want
it
that?
all depends too on what the reason is. I'm not going to get into that and what the reason is, but I'm just saying it also depends on that. What the reason is. You have your reason, and she has
Yeah.
her reason.
Right. Well,
that's
quite
good,
frankly,
though.
I don't even know exactly what it was all about. That's the confusing thing for me.
Right, and you would like some clarity on it.
That's right, Crystal.
Crystal's she's killing
Daddy
me.
Dan.
That's how listen, you can call me Daddy Dan, Crystals.
So you're gonna adapt Crystal, not me. See how you are?
Yeah, Larry knows I like it. I tell him the story
I think
about
she
how
wants to be your daughter.
Yeah. I was walking down on the sidewalk. I was telling we were at the BPI. I was walking down there and I see these girls coming my way. They're taking lunch break and they're headed for the Jolly Bee. And they walk right by me and they said something like, "Hello, Daddy. Hello, Daddy." And then
Yeah.
I was like,
That was in one of your videos.
yeah.
You know
that
what?
was- yeah.
Now that you mentioned that, my wife has a friend
Mhm.
in the Philippines who's younger. She's younger. I would say she's probably 28, maybe 26, or even 25, maybe.
Yeah.
And she calls me daddy.
She
And
calls
she
you
calls my
daddy.
wife mommy. And mommy,
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. So
That's not
that's
so bad if she's calling your mom,
That's a-
your wife, mommy, and you
But
daddy.
that's just a term of endearment that they do in the Philippines.
Nit Ben is saying Daddy Dan should be the channel name. Oh, Nit Ben. That's fun. Hey, here's what happened. I'm talking about the second time it
As
happened.
long as all the women don't come calling you dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As long as they don't say, yeah. So
Man, I need my allowance.
yeah. So
Where you
here's
been?
the interesting thing. Ma'am Minnie, she hears this. The one that I caught on video. man, Minnie was walking a few steps ahead of me, and she just started laughing. So, but the second time it happened, I think it was the same group of girls. It was at the BPI. So it's a small town. I mean, it's a really small town. So I mean, it's certainly not going to be unusual that the same group of girls that came by when I caught it on video came by again at the BPI. But this time I was prepared, right? I was prepared. Larry, you know what I said, right? I turned around to look at him and says, "Oh, come here, baby. Your daddy is waiting for you." And they started cracking up laughing. They were laughing so loudly.
That sounds kind of creepy.
Yeah, it was creepy. Oh, it was very creepy. And so
Daddy needs a hug.
yeah, Daddy needs a hug. Come here, baby. I've been missing you. And so when Minnie, after that, they were still laughing when Minnie came out of the bank. She was looking down the street like, what was that about? I said, oh, they came by. I told her what was going on, right? She just was laughing. I'm telling you, I think that's the end of that. I don't think they're ever going to come up to me anymore and call me Daddy. Yeah.
Well, they're just trying to get a reaction from you.
Yeah, they got a reaction out of me, and so they laughed about it.
But it is true though. The younger, they, that's what I get is from what my wife told me is that, it's out of respect they call you mommy or daddy when they're younger.
Right.
It's not a creepy thing.
Yeah, no, it was. I deliberately was trying to creep them out, obviously, Eddie, because I don't want them coming up to me saying that to me anymore. Because then what's going to happen next. I'm going to say, "Hey, who's your daddy, little girl? Who's your daddy?" So I think
some American will come by and go, "What the heck did he just say?"
Yeah, a smile is what I want out of them when they pass by. A hello and a smile, and then I'll wave and smile back at them, and that's the way it should go from here on out. Well, anyway, so that all of those thoughts. Getting back to the email, I don't know how you guys would have thought about it. I did not respond. I'm not going to. It's not a thing. It's not anything that I should go near to explore. I'm not interested at all in exploring those possibilities, but it started getting me think about these personality traits, and then how some people tend to put their insecurities out there, but they don't do it by declaring I'm insecure. They do it with their words. And I think that folks hanging around me, you need to know how I think about that, because people will.
Well, you know what,
you are vulnerable when that happens. You're very vulnerable.
What I noticed when people make comments and they're negative or whatever, some of the vloggers just respond in a way where they just say, "Hey, thanks for watching."
Well, yeah, I do that a lot. Yeah. Only because I don't have a whole bunch of time these days. I'm getting a lot of hits on the channel. I'm getting sometimes 200 and 300 comments on a live stream or video, because not because they're watching the whole thing, but people are having contests, and that if I support them, they'll say, Dan's a channel member, go support Dan's channel. And so they'll send me a message. So the heartfelt ones are the ones I think are the genuine heartfelt.
It's a lot of work to be a YouTuber.
I'll make an effort to respond. A lot of work to build your channel.
Eddie, there can be. That's why I'm very low on subscribers. Last time I looked was 488. But I'm not working that hard to build it up that large. When it happens, it happens. I enjoy, especially this kind of thing. I have an idea for a channel when I get to the Philippines. There you go. You might want to go online first to make sure you work out some of the kinks and talk about how preparing to go. People would be interested in that. What are you doing to prepare?
Oh. I'll do something like that. I'll definitely do something like that when I do the move. Yeah. But when I get
like
there,
I said, do it before you move, so you got to set up. But like, what shots did you get? How Did you
How
have to
many
renew your
boxes
passport?
did you ship?
Yeah, how many boxes are you sending? How did you send them? This is stuff.
Yeah.
Dad knows some of that.
Oh, yeah. That's just part of it, though. I mean, that's only going to take up so much time, right? And then I got to continue
Yeah,
it.
but I mean,
But
Yeah,
each
then you got to come up with another idea, right, Eddie?
and that's what I'm saying. My ideal that I have is actually, I'm not going to say what it is, but I mean, I'm gonna give it a shot and see how it does, and see what happens. I can't
yeah,
reveal
Chris,
it.
I do get long-winded sometime on
Oh,
my
you'll probably be a
advice.
YouTube superstar, Eddie. That's my prediction. You'll
Oh
be a
no,
YouTube superstar.
I got to compete with my wife though. She's got her
Oh,
channel.
Oh,
you're not going to beat your wife. I'm sorry. She's easier on the eyes, Eddie. I'm sorry. That
you
gives her a
She's
heads
gonna
up
make
to
guest
you.
appearances on my channel.
you guys should be
There you
thinking
go.
about collaborating because obviously you see whenever Minnie's hanging around, the views go crazy.
Yeah, right.
Whenever Minnie's around, the views go nuts,
Like I said, when she appears in the chat, it gets so much better looking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Minnie's like,
but you know
hey,
what? I will
yeah.
not degrade. I will not degrade my wife and say dress in something very skimpy to get everybody to view. I think
Well,
some
Yeah.
of these guys do that.
No, all
You
she's
know,
got
I
to
think
do is
it's-
show up. That improves the look of your channel.
That's pretty low, what I see.
That's well, I mean, what are you gonna do? You know what, Eddie?
Hey, like I said, I don't go to those channels. Okay.
I'm not the one.
channels.
I'm not the one that's gonna tell you don't encourage your wife to wear skimpy clothing.
I'm gonna do that.
Oh, I'm not the one. Oh my goodness
Now,
gracious.
if she does it on her own, Eddie, you didn't encourage her.
I may start wearing skimpy clothing to see how that goes over.
Like a lead balloon.
Now wait a minute.
It'll
Wait a
float like
minute.
a
You
rock.
might get a whole different type of genre in there. Uh-oh.
Okay, guys, you know what the music means. The music
Time to
means
shut her down.
yeah, it's time to shut her down. Dan's late for his appointment at the Dunkin'.
Gotta have his coffee.
All right,
Coffee and
Larry,
conversation.
take us out of this live stream with your words of wisdom.
All right, everybody. Remember, be nice to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and healthy. Plus, as always, try to have fun.
All right,
Bye-bye.
everybody, we'll see you on the next live. Bye-bye. Eddie, thank you very much. Love you. Take care. Oh, there it is.